Oh my god, NaNoWriMo is like totally the best. I can't believe you haven't tried it. It so got me writing again, and I'm on a schedule, and you really, really, really have to try this.
Welcome to Not Safe for Words. I'm your host, Crystal L. Kirkham, multi-genre author, editor, and cover designer. I'm here to give you insight into the world of publishing and to help you avoid the mistakes that others have made. So stick around, you're in for one hell of a ride where I don't curb the curses.
Well, I'm sure most of my listeners know what NaNoWriMo is. For those of you who don't know, NaNoWriMo is an acronym, kind of. It stands for National Novel Writing Month. NaNoWriMo is what it got shortened to. Now, this is a challenge that began in 1999. A wonderful fellow named Chris Beatty and a bunch of his friends decided to write a novel in a month. And it actually grew from there. I think in 2006 it became a nonprofit organization, and it just kept growing. Now, NaNoWriMo's changed quite a bit over the years, and that's something I might touch base on a little bit later in this episode if we have time. But mostly I want to focus on, for those who do know what NaNoWriMo is or have at least heard of it before, you've probably had people trying to convince you that this is a thing you must do. And what you must do, and I put this loosely in quotes, is write a novel of approximately 50,000 words in 1 month, with that month typically being November. There is something called Camp Nano, which runs in April and July during the summer, but you get to set your own word goals for those. And maybe we'll touch on those at some point, but we're going to talk about NaNoWriMo, what it is and what it means overall, and how it's not really a great idea for every writer out there. Now, a little bit of background here. For those who don't know, I have been doing NaNoWriMo since 2008. I've only ever had 1 year where I haven't met or exceeded that 50,000 word goal. That year was actually last year in 2020, which you all know 2020 was a fucking shit show. And to top that off, I was also in the middle of starting my own publishing company, as well as working for a whole nother publishing company at the same time. So my desk was overflowing, and trying to write a novel on top of all of that just wasn't happening. I think I got maybe 30 to 40,000 words in, which in my book, considering how busy I was, it was a fucking success. And that's something else we're going to talk about on that 50,000 word goal. So basically, to sum up, NaNoWriMo, 50,000 words, 30 days, November. It's basically high-speed noveling. You're writing 1,667 words a day on average to reach that goal. Now, since 2008, I've had years where I've written 120,000 words, and of course that 1 year where I didn't actually quite make it to 50,000. Normally, if I'm doing NaNoWriMo, I average 60 to 80,000 words in that month. And I've actually completed a lot of first drafts this way. But it works for me. Why does it work for me? Number one, I have ADHD. NaNoWriMo gives me that cooperative, yet at the same time still competitive environment that allows me to hyper focus on what I'm doing. It also allows me to have mirrors with me. What I mean by that is somebody else who's also working on this task separately and independently from myself, but they're doing it too, which gives me that mirror of allowing to do it myself. So as a neurodivergent person, it is a huge help for me. Now, this is going to be different for everybody, of course, and I can't stress that enough. But for me as a neurodivergent person, this is the perfect way to really get myself focused on a novel. Now, I know there's a lot of people who aren't neurodivergent who do NaNoWriMo and find a lot of success in it. And there's a lot of people who are neurodivergent and don't find success doing NaNoWriMo. So that's why I say NaNoWriMo isn't for everyone. And no matter what the huge aficionados are trying to convince the whole world of, it really is not for everyone. Which is what this episode is all about. Not just to tell you about NaNoWriMo, and maybe you might decide it's for you, but also to help you decide if this is something you should avoid doing, if it's going to ruin you as a writer, which is something that maybe could happen. I can't speak from personal experience because it hasn't happened to me, but I'm using my imagination here because I'm a fucking writer and that's what I do. So when it comes to writing 1,667 words a day, it really doesn't seem like much, but not everybody's a fast typer. Now, for example, I type on average 35 words per minute when I am writing fiction and prose. It's not very fast. I know a lot of people who can type really, really fast while they're putting out a story. That's not me. But 35 words per minute isn't really all that bad, because then you're looking at 400 to 500 words in a 15-minute long word sprint. And if I do 4 of those 15-minute long word sprints, which would equal an hour, and I would probably space them apart because I need breaks in between so I can switch my focus somewhere else, because heaven forbid I focus on writing for an hour straight in a row. Then that hour of writing at 400 words per 15-minute sprint will average it out as. So 4 of those at 4, that's 1,600 words, which means I'm already almost at that 1,667 words that I need. I'm like 67 words short, which with the give and take, I would probably be at an hour of writing. That doesn't seem like too much. An hour of writing, not even consecutively. Not too much. I mean, the words don't always flow that well, but once again, it's a very intense type of writing, and that's what NaNoWriMo typically is for a lot of people, a very intense, focused writing. And not all of us can do that. Some of us prefer to take our time, prefer to edit as we go, prefer to have a lot less work when we hit the end of that novel. And that's okay too. And while I am sort of drifting a little bit away from my point here, I hope you're actually learning something important in my meanderings on this topic of NaNoWriMo. One of the things that I really don't like about NaNoWriMo nowadays is when I first joined in 2008, the atmosphere was very different back then. And maybe it's because I wasn't so jaded or I wasn't a professional writer. I was just out there trying to find my creative spirit again. But I'm not the only one who's noticed that. It used to be a very much an atmosphere of we're all just here to have fun and try. And it's almost become more in recent years of a competition in a way. Like, hey, did you win NaNoWriMo? And being an old school nanoer, for me, I've always emphasized the point that it's just about creating as many words as you can with the time that you have, because we are busy people, most of us anyway. I know I am. I didn't even get home until almost 8 p.m. tonight from my office job, and I still have a shit ton of stuff to do, including recording this the night before I have to release it. But that is a part of life, and what NaNoWriMo was designed to do was allow you that time and that energy that you borrow from others to focus on that creative pursuit and that endeavor to recklessly write a novel with abandon, which, if you haven't ever experienced that kind of writing, is really a hell of a lot of fucking fun. And I don't know if any of this is convincing you whether or not NaNoWriMo is for you or is not for you, but I want you to understand, from my point of view, why I love it and why I continue to do it even when I feel so stressed and worn out and creatively dry. Because back in 2008 when I started doing it, it was the one thing that really helped me connect with myself again. And I know I don't normally get this personal and this honest on this podcast, but that's what it did for me. It allowed me to reopen creative doors that I had shut. And it actually helped me deal a lot with issues with depression and this disconnect from people, because really I'm a hermit most of the time. I've made a lot of great friends through NaNoWriMo, which sounds like, once again, I'm promoting it, but I'm also telling you that it's still not always going to be for you. From my experience, yes, it is for me. It's great for me. But on the drawback, I do know people who have tried this high-speed noveling and then find themselves kind of feeling a bit burnt out at the end of the month. And I'm going to be fucking honest with you. There have been many years where I've just been dead by December. I haven't felt like writing anything, let alone editing what I've written. And there have been years where I'm just like, I've got this. I feel these creative juices flowing. I'm just going to keep going and going. If you're somebody who has a really good writing habit, let's say you always choose to write 500 words, 5 days a week, end of story, maybe NaNoWriMo is not going to be for you. Don't interrupt a process that's really fucking working for you. But if you want to give it a try, don't not try it just because you want to stick with your current way of doing things. It is fun. You do meet a lot of great people doing NaNoWriMo. I have some lifelong, so treasured friends because of this, and I'm giving a shout out to my friend Alindra. I'm giving a shout out to Ash. I'm giving a shout out to Robin and Robin. There's a few of them. IA, of course. So many great friends. Julie as well. She's just been awesome. There's just so many great people out there that you really can connect with, and it does help to expand your network of writers. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a few people who's like, hey, I know Crystal. I met her through NaNoWriMo. We talk all the time, or we talk every now and again. I mean, that's one of the good things. But it's not going to work for everybody. And honestly, some years I'm not even too sure it works for me. But I do it because I love it. I do it because it's what got me back into this industry, into doing what I love and finding out who I am. And as I said, it works great with my neurodivergence, with the ADHD. It just really allows me to have the right situation and the right setup to be able to focus on writing. Through NaNoWriMo, what I have done was once write a full first draft, 60,000 words, in 14 days. And I got most of the second book started. Was it written very well? Oh, fuck no. But it's actually now one of my favorite novels I've ever written, after a lot of really detailed editing. So if you're on the fence about whether or not you want to do NaNoWriMo, or if it's right for you, if you haven't decided, no, this high-speed noveling, this really focused kind of writing is entirely wrong for who I am as a writer and who I am as a person, that's fine. But if you're on the fence, and you're not too sure whether or not it'll work for you, or you want to do it, but you're pretty sure that 50,000 word goal is not going to happen, I'm going to tell you something that not everybody who does NaNoWriMo will tell you. Make your own fucking goal. Every word you write, more than what you would have written normally, is a fucking win. It is always a win in my book. If you find something that helps you get your story that much further ahead than you would have without it, then it counts as a win. And that's the one thing I don't like about modern NaNoWriMo and how the focus has changed in recent years, is that it does seem to focus more on the get the words, win NaNoWriMo aspect of it. Get those 50,000 words or more. And fuck that. Honestly, I hate it. I like the camaraderie. I like the community that I can find there. I like the people in my freaking region. Shout out to Alberta, elsewhere. You guys are phenomenal people that I've had a chance to meet over the last God knows how many years I've been doing this. You are all amazing. And that's what I'm in it for. I'm in it for that little extra push to create more. I'm in it for the friends I've made and the friends that I might still make in the future. That's why I do this. That's why I push myself and challenge myself every November to write something. And sometimes I'll be a NaNoWriMo. I've written 2 novellas in a month to be like 60,000 total. I've continued a novel that was already in progress because, hell, nobody ever said you can't. I've gone in without a plan. I've gone in on a challenge. I've gone into doing NaNoWriMo with my 11-page spreadsheet for 4 novels. I mean, it makes no difference how you go in to do it. But if you think it might help you write a few extra words or really push past a block in your current story, then give it a try. And don't let anybody tell you that it's not a success just because you didn't hit 50,000 words. It is a success so long as you choose to write. And if you have decided it's not for you, just say that. No matter how hard someone says, oh, you should really give it a try, just tell them, you know what? It is not for me. Thank you, but no thanks. And if they keep bugging you, tell them I said to give them a big old middle finger. This has been another episode of Not Safe for Words. I hope you found some useful advice here today. If so, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can join me next time for more publishing and writing insights. Thanks for listening.